Welcome back to some more battles. We are in the open ultra late today, showcasing a team featuring the Florges paired with the Cradily and the Empoleon in the back. So we are going to switch out into our Cradily and we're going to get met with a Virizion. This Virizion is going to be pretty good against the Cradily as we don't really have any great moves against it. However, you can see right here we barely survive, which allows us to get to another rock tomb and gets them into the low yellow. So not bad considering no shields were used. We're looking for a farm down, unable to get the farm down, but this is a deep up move, so easily can tank it. And now we're going to swap out, and they swap right out immediately into the skunk tank. So it is a shadow. We are going to be able to apply a lot of pressure here. They go for the Trailblaze, and luckily that's only neutral. We survive it. We get to another Hydro and we get both shields down. So now we're going to start investing in shields and then over farm as much as we can. Nice catch by our opponent, but it resets the buff from the skunk tank. And now we have an interesting scenario. We are going to force some energy from this Tentacruel, but because we are quite low, we had to shield that, and then we're going to try to combo play. Unable to get the combo play. They go for the Scold. I believe we got debuffed, so this Chilling Waters is not going to deal as much, and we get the debuff on them. So we get back-to-back Chilling Waters, and luckily our Empoleon still fairly healthy enough that we can survive the fast move pressure, and allows us to get to another move. So well played by us. Looks like the bulk of the Cradily came in handy. Remember, surviving with the sliver of health and getting to the extra move to take down that Virizion, which allows us to get that farm. Here we're going to go Florges, and we get met with the Cresselia. This Cresselia is going to get debuffed first before we dip out, and they are running the Future Sight, so kind of a spicy moveset. Would have done a lot of neutral damage if we didn't get all those debuffs. As you can see here, double debuff allows this Cradily to survive this move easily. Unable to get the farm down, but this is a triple debuffed move, and once again Cradily able to survive, allowing us to save a shield, and then we're getting a little bit of energy advantage into the Empoleon. But the Empoleon is actually going to get met with the opposing Empoleon after tanking a Dragon Energy. So at this point, we are going to try to deal as much damage as possible to the opposing Empoleon because we don't have a awesome way to take it out. And now our opponent decides to swap back out into their Reggie. We're going to bank a move and head back into the Florges. We can take a Dragon Energy easily, but definitely not a Hyper Beam, but it wasn't enough energy. And now we're going to force a lot of pressure from our opponent. They had two shields and they have to end up shielding Chilling Water now. Hydro Cannon is going to do significant damage, but is not quite enough. But here we go. Remember, the Cradily surviving with the sliver of health. This is where it comes in handy. We banked a move, and now we're going to just basically force our opponent to GG's quit because they did not want to use the shield. And even though we were able to get a debuff move, they're permanently debuffed, and we still had a Pokemon remaining. Okay, Florges Mirror. This situation, it's going to come down to cap time, and we try to catch a move. Our opponent was thinking the same thing. We simul swap, and we actually get the better end of the deal. We are at least able to resist most and all of their traditional moves. And then you can see here, even though we did get debuffed, we already did enough damage to get them into the yellow. And now we are applying a lot more pressure. Here goes another drill pad, gets them into the red. And we definitely can survive another move. And we definitely are going to make sure we get to this drill peg, taking out the Tentacruel, so we maintain alignment at least. Okay, it looks like Florges decides to come back in, and we're going to apply the pressure because we had so much energy. Luckily, we got the debuff first, so it allows us to kind of tank that move that the opposing Florges threw. Our opponent does get to a disarming voice, and we once again barely survive it. And now we have the actual matchup we need. Cradily versus the Gastro. All we have to do here is get to 2 grass nuts. No point in baiting. Down goes the Gastro, and GG's to our opponent. So interesting backline by our opponent, running the Gastro and Florges. And then with that Tentacruel, I'm not exactly sure why that was used, but luckily we did have the alignment needed. All right. Against a Feraligatr, we decided to throw a move and then catch the next. And so that was a decent catch. We definitely could have survived another move if it's Hydro. Would have been close if it was Crunch, but luckily we were going to survive with a sliver of health. But unfortunately, we are down a shield, and now we have an interesting matchup here. We got the Florges into the Talon. We are able to throw some super effective Chilling Waters, and we get the debuff. So we are gonna decide to catch the next move. They throw the Fly, and that's just not gonna do enough, especially double debuff at this point. Brave Bird is gonna get used finally, and then they dip out of there. But before they are able to get to a move, we get to Arachnum into this Guzzlord, getting the debuff, and then we're just trying to look for a farm down, and our opponent ends up getting fainted, and we survive with a sliver of health. But because of that, we are able to get the last shield, and we are allowed to pressure, and then we're going to swap out into the Cradily, already having a move into the Arachnum. So GG's to our opponent. Man, these Cradilies and Florges surviving with a sliver of health is coming in clutch. As you can see, banking the move with the sliver of health is always good. All right, we get the debuff, then we're going to catch and move. They go for the Shadow Ball, so nice energy thrown there. We're going to fire off the move, and our opponent does reach the Sacred Sword, so we know that they're running Sacred Sword on most likely Stone Edge. There's the Stone Edge finally, and then we're going to overfarm, fire off a neutral disarming voice. Unable to get there, so we're just going to try to catch and move, but they actually throw a Sacred Sword for some reason. That was a great bait by our opponent. Here, because they're debuffed, we are going to try to win this backline. Ooh, they called the bait there, and they're definitely going to look to try to get some 2 shield advantage in the back. Unfortunately, they still have 2 shields, so that's definitely going to be a shield used. And then we get to another Chilling Waters here. I don't think it would have KO'd anyways, so it doesn't really matter. It ended up being that Blasters that called the move. So check out the team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.